Outrage as transgender woman is handed Woman of the Year award by Australian state MP. Incredibly offensive. This is one time that it should be incredibly offensive. Happy Sunday, everyone, and welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Akorn. I hope all of you are having a great day and that you're ready for the next episode of Laugh While the World Burns, where we show some of the highlights of the idiocracy that is modern-day society. If you enjoy this series, please help support the channel and watch this video to the end. Share this video with your family, friends, and social media. We have some good memes and a lot of idiocracy news today, so let's get into it. I am pro-oxygen. Liberals. War propaganda. People who have never been in a fight. Fact check true. 3/4 of Americans want term limits. Share this video if you are one of them. Could St. Louis succeed and become the 51st state? Missouri lawmaker proposes idea. A Missouri lawmaker called for making St. Louis County, and St. Charles County the 51st state during a debate last week regarding the state takeover of the St. Louis Metropolitan Police. Yeah, because the city won't let the police arrest the criminals. State Representative Michael Burton suggested the city and 2 counties secede from the state and directed his argument at the Republican side of the chamber, stating, "We subsidize your counties. Maybe we can just keep all that tax revenue in St. Louis. And can you imagine how great St. Louis would be if we just kept our own tax dollars? If only all the rest of the people here in Missouri could be so lucky that St. Louis and Kansas City both would succeed from the state, because I guarantee you the rest of the state subsidizes far more for those cities than anything that they give us." Why do they look like they're about to lay a trap for Batman? Hollywood could get some inspiration here. U.S. Post Office worker stole $1.6 million in checks from mail, spent it on luxury hotels and gentlemen's clubs. Dodge canceled a $600,000 grant to study menstrual cycles in transgender men. Deep thoughts by Bigfoot. If zombies like to eat brains, what are the majority of you people worried about? He has a good point. Well, it's Epstein Files Not Released Day again. Musk exposes magic money computers that allow government to send funds out of thin air. The federal government has at least 14 computers that spew cash, Musk says. Elon Musk revealed that the federal government has magic money computers that allow it to send taxpayer funds out of thin air without adequate oversight. Musk exposed the shocking information during an interview with Senator Ted Cruz on the latest episode of his podcast released on Monday. The episode was part 1 of a 2-part series recorded at the White House. They just send money out of nothing. I tried to tell people that a long time ago. They don't actually have to print the paper. All they gotta do is add some zeros to a computer. I'm going to be a father, revealing the gender of my twins. Father-to-be does mother care haul. Christmas gift guide by the boys. My children don't exist. Maybe not, but it got over 3 million views. Almost 160,000 civil service employees are millionaires. When Biden took office, fewer than 70,000 federal workers were millionaires. By 2022, the number grew to 76,000. The number ballooned to 155,000 by September of 2024. It is likely there are over 160,000 millionaires working for President Trump. Pears grown in Argentina, packed in Thailand, and sold in the U.S. And you want to stop me from farting.
Mr. Speaker, Walgreens is planning to close yet another pharmacy in the Massachusetts 7th, this time on Warren Street in Roxbury, a community that is 85% Black and Latino. This closure is a part of a larger trend of abandoning low-income communities like the previous closures in Mattapan and Hyde Park, both in the Massachusetts 7th. When a Walgreens leaves a neighborhood, they disrupt the entire community, and they take with them baby formula, diapers, asthma inhalers, life-saving medications, and of course, jobs. These closures are not arbitrary, and they are not innocent. They are life-threatening acts of racial and economic discrimination.
Attorney General calls Tesla arson attacks nothing short of domestic terrorism. Attorney General Pam Bondi called the recent spate of arson attacks and vandalism against Tesla vehicles nothing short of domestic terrorism and promised harsh punishments for the perpetrators if they are caught. Teslas are getting torched in Berlin as surveys show Germans are deserting Elon Musk's carmaker in droves. Leftist arrested after drawing on a Cybertruck belonging to a Jewish man in New York City. The man saw the Cybertruck, got out of his Subaru, then He fled the scene without his car and came back an hour later where police were waiting on him. The people carving on vehicles owned by Jewish people want you to think that you are the amateur looters, professional looters. Federal judge orders astronauts be returned to space station. Nothing would really surprise me at this point. WWE legend Kane, now a Tennessee mayor, challenges Tim Walz to charity wrestling match after governor's bold claim. After Minnesota Governor Tim Walz said he believes he, quote, could kick most Trump supporters, one of them have stepped up to the plate, and he is automatically the heavy favorite. WWE legend Kane, who stands 7 feet tall, had wrestled at over 300 pounds during his illustrious career, has challenged Walz to a charity wrestling match. Kane, whose real name is Glenn Jacobs, now the mayor of Knox County in Tennessee, issued a challenge to Walz on Thursday. All joking aside, Governor Tim Walz, let's put our money where our mouth is. In a charity wrestling match, we'll split the gate 50-50 between our chosen organizations. I'll kick things off myself with a $10,000 donation. What do you say? As if he's gonna get a reply. Taylor Swift facts. Taylor Swift can now buy Kanye West and still have $700 million left for herself. Taylor Swift cannot buy Kanye West, as this was abolished in 1865 in the United States. You'd never know that by watching the news these days, though. Of course, they never say anything about all the other countries that are still doing it.
If we divide 123 genders by white supremacy, how much climate change do we get?
That's basically what they sound like. Uncovered. Massive $27 billion climate scam implicating Stacey Abrams, Kamala Harris, and other top Democrats. It is particularly concerning that U.S. taxpayer money may have been misallocated to campaign for former presidential candidate Kamala Harris. Just pocket change compared to what's been stolen. This was considered comically fat in 1971.
It was really fun last year, and my, at the time, 3-year-old had such a good time tipping the drag queens and the other drag performers. He kept going, so pretty, and like holding out the dollars. He was so excited. So I'm sure that he won't be able to wait again this year. So thank you so much for making it not just a fun event, but a fun event for everyone in your family. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely. Since the beginning, it's always been very important to us that this event is accessible for everybody, and that includes being free entry. At most, one day we might ask for a donation, but we'll never turn someone away for a ticket price.
dog stole human head from a crime scene and ran with it. A dog got to the crime scene where human remains had been dumped, and he carried off a human head. Why wasn't the crime scene already secured? They just let random dogs just walk through there? If a dog could go in there and do that before they stop him, then no evidence or anything else in the crime scene is safe. A broke bartender for 9 years, now 8 years in Congress, worth $28 million. We won't stand up for a 13-year-old cancer survivor, but Democrats will kneel for a criminal. Breaking news: Trump to start deporting Democrats. Mexico responds by starting to build a border wall. Government creates the crisis so it can rescue you with the loss of freedom. Very true statement. Assaulted a girl in 2008, used $875,000 of tax money to keep her quiet. Yet another example of our tax dollars being used for everything but we the people. 50-year-old man arrested after faking heart attack in 20 restaurants to avoid paying bill. He has the opportunity to do the funniest thing possible at his sentencing. He better seriously hope that he never has a real heart attack, because no one will believe him. Remember, Mother's Day is for moms, not men in dresses. Your day is April 1st. Imagine, if you will, a country where people believe that the military-industrial complex will save them from the military-industrial complex. Yep, 100%. I don't need a man. I know how to put oil in my car. Now, this picture here was hopefully just staged. However, there absolutely has been people that puts cooking oil in their engine. I will say it is interesting what happens to it in the engine, but basically some of the ones I've seen, whenever they took off the oil pan, it basically felt like a block of black-colored, really tough Jell-O, almost like a ballistics gel. I still don't understand the reason for daylight savings. What was it really created for? To disrupt the body's natural circadian rhythms, which controls your sleep cycle. And they do this on a worldwide scale across all the nations twice a year. I guarantee you there is a lot of health impacts that is caused by this. How it started, how it's going. Hakeem Jeffries was $40,000 in debt when he came to Congress. In 6 years, he's amassed a $36 million stock portfolio. How the Canadian government thinks they look threatening the U.S. How the Canadian government actually looks. I blocked CNN at my mom's house using parental controls. Now she keeps calling me saying she can't watch the news. This is how we save America. I just bought a new Jeep. I named it Elizabeth Warren because it's all white, but it says it's a Cherokee. Your race card has been declined. Do you have another form of argument?
I sat with a girl with dark skin. Discussed alt-right.
Do you have any mental illness in your family? I have an uncle who trusts Dr. Fauci, so that would be a yes. Labeled terrorist by the government. Family unalived by evil empire. Has nothing left to live for. joins rebellion to vow revenge, inspired by ancient religion, trains with leaders, uses to force change. The only difference is society tells you that one is a hero and that the other one is the enemy. Why is that? Well, most of the time, whether a man is labeled a hero or a terrorist comes down to your point of view. Whatever side a person is for are the heroes, and the side that the person is against is the enemy. Whether you're supposed to be rooting for one side or the other usually depends on what the propaganda news has directed you to believe. It's time to investigate Jasmine. Salary, $174,000. Net worth, $9 million. Properties, $5 million. If the grocery store has a section for health food, then what is the rest of the store? Exactly.
It's been called the Gulf of Mexico for centuries.
Now do gender pronouns. Healthcare. I need stitches. UK. Your appointment is in 43 months. US. Your bill will be $67,000. Canada. Have you considered self-unaliving? Sad part is, these are all true. Captain Cook statue and cottage vandalized. Melbourne, Australia. Yeah, he was one of those evil colonialists. When someone asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Buddy, I'm just trying to make it to Friday. I hear that. The York University PhD candidate and lecturer, Aliyah Khan, screamed, "You" at veterans on Remembrance Day. York University confirmed that she is no longer teaching there.
Stop saying we're all violent.
Stop being violent. You'll hurt her feelings if you say that, though, because remember, they're all peaceful protesters. Before I show this one, let me just say, it's nothing to laugh about at all. Florida woman couldn't take her dog on a flight, so she drowned the animal in the airport bathroom. A Florida woman was told she could not bring her dog aboard a flight departing Orlando International Airport, so she drowned her dog in an airport bathroom, according to police. After the dog's death, the suspect allegedly proceeded through security and eventually boarded her flight to Colombia. Allison Lawrence, 57, was arrested March 18th. She was charged with aggravated animal abuse, a third-degree felony, according to an arrest record. Should be a first-degree felony and then some. Like my mom has stated many times over the years, you can tell a lot about a person by the way that they treat animals. And anyone who will abuse an animal will have no problem doing the same thing to a person. What Congress thinks they look like. What they actually look like. Now we know the truth. Social Security was never drying up. They were stealing it. And they have been all along. When someone says, "You won't believe what I saw on the news." Correct. And I'll end today's show with this. It's hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way of making decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong. That is 100% true, and I don't care what side or party that they're on. If you enjoyed the show, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, smash subscribe and click that bell. And help spread the word of our growing community here by sharing these videos with your family and friends. Because this program is only made possible by viewers like you. I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this week. This is Akorn, over and out.